Hey YouTubers, this is Eric in Palm Springs, Cindy, and we have a fun video, but I have to say that we have been talking. We've been sitting at my little bar counter area and talking about what to talk about, and so we wrote down some notes. We've had a nice conversation. And like I keep saying to Eric, what's your train of thought? And Eric, gives me some information, and then I twist it and say, well, I was kind of thinking this. Well, anyway, I have to say, it's a topic that he and I keep coming back to, and so that's what we're going to talk about. We have we have no decisions made. We don't have a bullet, like bullet one, but bullet two, bullet three. It's not an organized conversation, but it is a worthy conversation, and one that I think many seniors have had. And so, and before I forget, please remember I am on day 7 of my CO2 laser on my face. I have no face makeup on, except I have eye makeup and some lipstick. And I have this Vaseline balm stuff on me, which makes me look very greasy.
Or sweaty.
Yeah. Eric keeps saying, "Guy, why are you sweating so much?" I'm like, am I? And then finally I figured out, it's this ointment I have on my face and my
sweaty?
chest.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I'm like, am I hot and sweaty? And he's like,
No.
So at any rate, okay, take it away, Eric.
Take it away. What we're discussing was marriage in the senior years, and whether we wanted to get the state involved in it. It means getting a marriage license. At our age, I think we were discussing whether we just want to be married to the Lord and not have the state involved in anything that we do. All the state does is complicate everything. And if you love each other and you want to do that, then I think a ceremony and to marry to God is where I would want to be if I was doing that. And that's the discussion we wanted to have tonight. What were your thoughts on it? If you could give us some input down the road after you see this, and our discussions on it, and the pros and cons to it. And that's what we want to discuss tonight.
Yes. And be sure and talk loud enough.
Yes.
Because you're...
Okay.
You know how...
I will talk louder.
So I know that when I started talking to my family about Eric, and I would say things like, I'm dating a guy, I'm dating a man, and we've been going out for a while, and I really like him. He seems like a great guy, and so many of my family, my close family members that I love and respect, said, "That's Cindy, that's great, but please don't get married. Don't get married again." And I was like, well, I don't get that. What do you mean don't get married? And they just said, at your age, you don't need to be married. You can have a relationship. You can have a partner. You can, move in and live together. You can act like you're married. You can pretend like you're married. Just don't do it. And so I was a little bit confused by that, because I know my family loves me and they're concerned about me. So I kind of was thinking, backtracking in my mind, why would they not want me to actually marry? And so then when Eric and I talked about expectations in our relationship, what does the future hold? Then Eric said to me, well, I really see us more of a, that you and I would not necessarily, you and I would be married under God. And I was like, yeah, and what does that look like? And so...
You would have a ceremony, just like anything, but basically you don't have the state get involved with it. That means getting a state license and have the state involved in your life. As anybody who's been divorced, you know what entanglements that encompasses. And that's what we're trying to say. We each have our own financial situations that stay separate. We love each other, and if we want to get married, it's to God and to God only. That's the only one you really have to get married to, in my opinion.
Okay, well, wait, because that's confusing to me, that we get married to God.
Yes.
We get, I think,
Well,
are you
we
saying-
get married to you in front of, we get married to each other in front of God, or we have a ceremony to that effect. That's what I'm saying. We don't have to involve the state in our relationship at this point in our lives. And that's my opinion. And her family pretty much agrees on the same basis as I am, that that's the way to go at this point. We don't need to have the state involved in our relationship. And that's what we're trying to get to.
Well, because I think, I was a little confused, and I thought, well, what do you mean we get married to God? So I said, so in other words, Eric, you're thinking that we could have a ceremony. It would be you and I and whoever we wanted to invite, our nuclear family, or and our pastor or our friend, close friend, whatever, and then that you and I would, like, together make a vow, make a commitment in front of our community,
Yes.
and that would be good enough. We don't have to go to City Hall. We don't have to put our, make our fingerprints and all that. It would be a commitment in front of our loved ones and in front of God.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, well, I think in terms of remembering the olden days with AIDS patients and their partners couldn't visit them in the hospital because they weren't married. And they, like, I think of that movie Philadelphia, and with Tom Hanks, and that his partner couldn't see him, couldn't visit him in the hospital. And then that's when they made civil unions. So then I'm thinking, so does that mean, are you thinking civil union? But civil union's still civil. It's still monitored with government papers behind it. Put your fingerprint here.
Yes, but then he could have said yes and married. Well, at that point, because it's a man and a man, there were some discrepancies there. If it's a man and a woman, you go in there and I'm on my deathbed, and you go, I'm his wife. They're going to let you in. What are they going to do? Check the marriage license? No,
Oh,
they're
I
not
see
going
what
to
you're
be
saying,
doing
yeah.
that. Okay, so you get access if you're telling somebody that you're my wife, and that's the end of it.
If they asked to see her.
They're not. Where are you going? Who has a marriage license
Well,
in
that's
their back pocket? Nobody. Okay, I don't even know. Do you know where it was after you got it? No, nobody does.
But then I think, I look at it overall through a senior's eyes, someone older. So, I might have, and Eric might have, property that we want to go to our children or to our loved ones, whoever. And we don't want a spouse, our legal spouse, to stand in the way of that. But then I think, well, couldn't we get a prenup? Couldn't we put all that down in writing? I kind of hesitate because of my religion, because of being a Christian and the Bible, that we need to be married legally, spiritually, legally, civilly. So
Yes, but that wasn't the reason for marriage in the first place. And so the state was never involved in your marriage, even at the beginning. That was brought about because a man wanted to know that the children that the woman's bearing is his. That's the basics of marriage. So why does the state have to be involved in it? It doesn't. It has no bearing on it at this point in our lives. Maybe earlier it did, and I don't even know if it does anymore.
So
I really
what
can't
about
say that.
what about if let's say you and we have not taken our vow to one another under God, and we want to buy a house,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like, well, are you, I guess it doesn't matter if we're married or not.
Because you're on the deed or you're not on the deed.
Right.
So whoever's putting up the money puts their name on the deed. Whoever doesn't, doesn't. And then you have your own whatever. It's just who's ever on the deed. Legally, that's binding. That's it. Okay, you're on the deed or you're not on the deed.
I don't know if you're going to be on the deed. Maybe my deed.
Yeah,
not
you
your
can have
deed.
your deed. Your deed is your deed. What can I say? That's it. I mean, that's basic. I mean, people buy homes together without being married, and that's it. Either they're on the deed or not. You buy a car, they're either on the registration or they're not.
Well, I know there are, if our concern was, you know, I want to make sure my daughter gets A, B, C, and Eric's thinking, I want to make sure my children get D, E, F. You know, there has to be ways of doing that, whether or not we're legally married or married spiritually under God, right?
Well, that's debatable too. I mean, you can say, well, the legality of marriage is basically the state is a partner in your marriage. Anybody that's been divorced, I'm talking about everybody out there. There's probably half of you have been divorced, because
Which is sad.
the statistics are that 80% of the divorces are brought about by the woman in the marriage, and if she has a degree, it's 90%. So the women initiate divorce. So
Let's just say many times women initiate divorce.
So yes, more than men. And what I'm saying to you is that is an issue that if a woman gets basically the laws of, especially in this state of California, are totally for the woman. A man can't even get custody of his children unless he can prove that she's totally inept. I'm going to put it that. I'm not going to go into details, but she has to be totally inept for a man to get custody of his children. So you're subject to that alimony, child support, half of everything you put in, and so that's how they get involved in your relationship.
Okay, now, time out. I'm thinking that what you just said, that's a whole nother video. The government's interference and the government's hands-on when it comes to dissolution of marriage and so on. And that's a conversation Eric and I have had. We're going to have it on here, but not right now. So right now, we're just going to say that as seniors, what do you guys think as a senior citizen? If you met a man, if a man met a woman, would you feel the need to be legally married, or would you feel the need to have a contract of some kind, or not? I don't know. So, what do you think about this conversation, really?
Well, I have an issue with the word legally married. Legally to the state of California, the state of any state, you're legally married to the man upstairs. If you have your ceremony, you're doing your thing, and that's between a man and a woman. That's it. Or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman. It's everything right now. Do you need the state involved? Do you need a state license to say I'm legally married? What does that do?
Okay.
Nothing. Absolutely zero. You can write in anything you want. You can make whatever paperwork, a lawyer can draw up whatever paperwork you want and have everything divided up equally if that's what you have to have. And that's what I'm saying right now. At our age, we're independent of each other. We don't need that, in my opinion. That's all I can say is my opinion. And I think that if we're going to be together, we're going to be together because we want to. Mm-hmm. And if we don't, we don't. Then it's gone. Then you say, okay, you know, we're not there. And then you go. Not have to go through the hassle of everything that you have to go through to get legally divorced or
Oh.
legally separated or
Right.
legally anything, because the state comes in and dictates it. And so, in my opinion, we don't need the state to dictate anything to me at this point in my life. I'm telling you right now, I'm done with the state.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. You may not recognize me because today I'm 73. I may not be recognizable now that I'm older, but still the same old Palm Springs Cindy.
She asked me today, how did I get this old? I says,
This
lucky.
happened. How did this happen?
Lucky, I guess, is my answer to that. Because how many people actually, she's lucky.
Oh.
And she still is.
Well, okay, I want to let you guys know I got a happy birthday notice on Facebook from my friend since I was 5 years old, Lois. And she's gorgeous and beautiful, and we were good friends all through our elementary years, and we've seen each other a few times since then. And then I also got several happy birthdays from my friends from Jackson, Mississippi, that I've known since junior high and high school. So that was a delight, and made me smile to think that that there was still a connection after all these years. And I have a new grand niece who's just a few months old. And so I got a text this morning and the mom, Alyssa, said, I'm up with the baby and I want to be the first to say happy birthday. She wasn't. I wanted to be the first to say happy birthday, and then she had sent me videos of the baby that just put a smile on my face. So anyway, it's so nice to see, when it is your birthday because of social media. I think it says on there, today is Cindy's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And, so people that remember me or our friends, say happy birthday. And it's fun. And it's, especially when you get people that say it from so many years ago. So, all right, you guys, we're going to upload another video right after this about what's it going to be about?
I don't know. We'll discuss it when we see it. It's going to be a surprise now because we have to think about it because it's a senior moment.
It's a senior moment.
Goodbye,
Yes,
everybody.
we love you. Mwah.
Thumbs up.
Now, is this my side? This is not my side. You used to change places with me. Serenity now. What's the topic? Okay, I know what it
I
is.
messed up, so you blame me for breaking your equipment. I had a new ring. I bought. God, I had one of these, but I gave it to you.
Well, you have that beautiful new camera that we can't figure out.
Well, we did once, and then I have a new one of these.